All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 3 of the Coach Shawn Witten Show here on 107.9 The Bridge. I'm Stacy Street along with my partner Tony Briggs and Coach Shawn Witten, head coach of your Elizabethton Cyclones. Coach Witten, I've been around Elizabethton High School way too many years. I want to say, almost 40. And I thought last year was the first year I'd ever seen a game canceled because of weather. We kind of sheltered your grandmother up in the booth with us last week, and she goes, "You remember that time at Central where it started raining and Coach Ryder said we would stay here until," she said, "Dave said we'd stay here until the morning to play the game." So how do you handle a situation like last week?
Well, Stacy, obviously it's just very disappointing, and guys really wanted to get out there and play versus a good opponent. We had a great week of preparation, and it's just a great matchup too for us. One of the tough matchups we had all last year. Obviously both teams come off 2 rivalry losses, ready to get back onto the field, and same thing for us is another missed opportunity for us to play home in front of a home crowd. And I thought we had a great week of practice. Guys handled it pretty well. We regrouped a little bit here during the time, and obviously it's just very disappointing not to get out there with our guys worked really hard. At this point in time, we've practiced a lot. Our guys are really game ready and want to get out there and play.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. You spend all fall camp hitting on each other.
Yeah.
You get a few scrimmages, but you're trying to see as many people as you can. You get that first game under your belt and you think you're getting a little traction. How do you carry that over into this week's preparation for Grainger?
Well, we try to use a lot of the same game plan that we were having installed last week. Obviously a different opponent, but offensively we've tried to use a lot of the same game plan. And then also, just trying to do a good job of making sure that we continue to get better, we continue to maximize the reps, continue to put guys in good positions to be able to be successful on the field, and then just build off the things that we try to continue to build the depth of our football team, and then we just getting guys healthy, and trying to be our best, and we know some big football games lie ahead, but it's just you make so much progress from game 1 to game 2. We thought that we had a great game plan. Our guys were ready to go. We thought that Thursday's pre-game and Friday's walkthrough was right on point. And it's just kind of frustrating because guys really want to get out there. And we want to bounce back from a disappointing loss. And I thought our guys were ready to perform well that night.
And let's maybe find the silver lining. Some people that were kind of nicked up, banged up a little bit, saw way too many crutches on the sidelines that first ball game. What's the health of the Cyclone team now? Well,
we feel like we're back to the strongest version of ourselves, and obviously Ben's a playmaker for us on the defensive end. He was back ready to go. Landry has kind of been banged up a little bit preseason. He feels as good as he's felt all year. And then we feel like we're as deep as we've ever been at the tight end H-back position. So continue that Gavin Kodak was back in the offensive line position. So just continue to build that depth, and we've got a sophomore left tackle in Tanner, getting him more reps as we can, and just seeing if we can be the strongest football team we can be, and trying to simulate those practice reps, those game reps. So our health looks better than we did coming out of the Science Hill game, and I think that that's kind of the most disappointing part, because we wanted to see those guys step out there and step up and make some plays.
You go into this year, and the status of the Morristown West game's up in the air. If for some reason we're not able to make it up, that's 4 consecutive years of only 9 games. Can you give us any kind of update on where the current status is?
Well, I definitely want to play the game guys want to play, regardless where the game falls. It's just a matter of working it out and just getting communication. The good thing is, I think there's a shining light because Morristown West was able to play Greenville last year to make up their game. I feel that they're going to exceed all options to try to fit that in as best possible. Both teams really want to play. And then whether or not we continue this rivalry, continue this game in the next cycle, it's a big time football game that really tells you a lot about your team, and both teams have size and speed, and just the way that game was last year. That's going to be a really good football game for us moving forward if we can get it.
And you know, we talked pregame last year. This was we're played them 8 times. We split 4 and 4, but it feels like since you've been here, we've scrimmaged them at least 8 times or more. Seems like if we're not playing them, we've always scrimmaged them, and we always went there and then come here, and it's always been very competitive.
Well, the Morristown West has always done a good job. They scrimmaged Science Hill. They've always scrimmaged us. I think we would love to continue to play them if we can. It's a good game to kind of see where you're at. It's a tough back-to-back matchup between Science Hill and Mo West. So, you know, it's 2 really physical games right out the gate. And then, you know, you see some size, you see some speed, you see a different brand of football in some different aspects there. You know, Morristown West is traditionally, they got a number of good coaches on the staff that have been there a long time, and they've been around. And then, you know, when they play Mo East their first regular season game, that's a huge rivalry for them. So, you know, the disappointing loss for them this year, you know, they want to actually rebound and play a good football game against us. So I think it's a great game if we can plug it in somewhere, and I think they'll do that if they can.
And final question before we take a break. You being the competitor that you are, and we got the competitors on the team, how did you handle going in, practicing, warming up, coming off the field, and then sitting through a 2-hour rain delay, 2.5 hours, and then being canceled? How did you handle that?
Well, I think
Not very good.
Not very good. I think most importantly, you're just disappointed for our guys. Our guys have worked really hard, and it's a wasted opportunity for them that sometimes you can't get back. You mentioned four games over 4 years. You know, you think about the opportunity you can get. You know, those are wins or those competitive games, or you learn a lot about yourselves. But it's an opportunity for us, being a young football team, to guys step up and make those plays. And, you know, you want to bounce back from a disappointing loss. And there's no way to do that than getting back out on the field in front of your home crowd. And then the way our seasons fell the last couple of years, and the way that our home game, you know, that was a big home game for us this year. And then early in the season, too, in August, you know, you got great weather. You know, you test yourself, you push yourself. You know, we ask our guys to be here committed over the summer, so it's disappointing in that. But, you know, as a coach, it's not really about yourself. It's more about your players. Just see those guys get out there. You put a game plan together, see those guys go out there and execute the plays and play at a high level. And when you get a big win, you get an opportunity to see smile on those guys' faces, and you're right back where you need to be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the first half of the Coach Witten Show. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's big contest as conference competitions open. If you want to ultimately get our goal, we got to start off tonight with 1-0. All that to come after these words from our sponsors. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coach Shawn Witten Show. Coach, got a big game tonight coming in. Grainger's coming in 2-0, but more importantly, it's game 1 of the conference. You want to actually set the tone for tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more about who we are and kind of how we approach it, you know. And, you know, do we get off to a sluggish start? Do we play fast tonight? That's really going to dictate, you know, what our energy level is going to be like, what our body language is going to be like, all those little small things that we talk about through the course of the preseason. I think a lot of it's about us, you know, how physical we play, what's our mentality of play, how do we approach this game. Typically, you know, a lot of times we sit here at 2-0, and we kind of take a laid-back approach. Tonight, you know, we don't want to do that. We don't want Grainger across the 50. We don't want them to gain 25 yards. We want to suffocate them on defense. We want to make a lot of big plays, have some fun, and really come out excited about, you know, the rest of the season that we have to play.
Well, how do you, judging on this week's practice and the energy that's been going on, how do you feel that this team has handled last week's off by cancellation coming in? How do you feel like that?
Well, we made several adjustments to our schemes, obviously trying to, you know, move guys around and put them in position. So I'm excited about seeing that tonight, and also just spreading the football around to see what guys can do. I mean, right now, I mean, we've got a number of guys that can catch the football. You know, we've got multiple tight ends and H-backs. Getting back to seeing Rhett make some plays with his arm and his feet. You know, inserting himself in the play in the game, and then really just seeing more of a I wouldn't say more of a blitzing defense, but seeing more of an opportunistic defense, seeing linebackers shoot the gaps, seeing us come off the edge, flying around, making plays. We did such a great job in the Science Hill game in the initial first part, or just swarm tackles, gang tackles. I mean, we really did a great job. And see more of that, and then really see our energy level, really go through the roof of how good we can be. When we play unselfish football and see guys make a lot of plays.
You talked about moving some personnel around. You go from third week of preparation for a game, third different type of offense, and we interview the kids that we're going to have at halftime. We talked to Billy Woodby and Landry Buckles, and they talked about being moved from that linebacker spot up on the line. So, and Billy talked about moving up to nose. So, this wing T shotgun type offense, you really play more of a 5-2 that Coach Ryder used to play. How does that provide a challenge for you, and what adjustments have you made?
Well, what we saw, or was going to see the first 2 weeks, Stacy, is you saw offensive sets where they don't have to sub to create multiple formations. So that becomes difficult when you got a base defense of when they're not subbing and they can line up and spread and then tied in an H-back, you can't sub. And so what we've tried to do is how many different looks can we get? What's the coverage on the background look like? When we have to roll people down, and then I think the ability too of taking like a strong will linebacker as Billy or an athletic type outside linebacker in Landry and creating some versatility with them, moving to a 5-man front. Different ways to do that. Can you walk a linebacker up front of the edge? Can you take Billy to a nose man in certain formations? Can you get a safety down in the box to kind of get himself involved in the game? And then how much help do your corners need on the outside? There's some situations where your corners have to play, man. That's not a lovable situation, but they have to. So I think what Morristown West was going to create for us was tight ends and H-backs that we've had in the past, like Cam Baker, when they can move to different positions, it creates mismatch. And so we've got to be able to match up to those with our base personnel without subbing. It's easy to sub an extra D lineman in. It's easy to sub to take a safety out. But we're trying to see if we can hold up in our base defense, without doing that. I think tonight is going to be a big opportunity for a lot of guys to make some plays. Landry's so athletic, and then you got to be able to set the edge. We didn't do a great job against Science Hill setting the edge. We got to get guys in position there that can do that.
And as odd as it seems, this wing T that they run, that end really becomes important, does it not? I mean, either from getting kicked by a pull or some kind of cross buck or even a reverse out of it.
Well, you got to be strong on the inside as much as you are on the outside, and then we feel with some versatilities of Kyron and Riley Jones' size, and then Kyler McGovern, and then Ben, obviously. When you walk Landry up and you reduce the front, now you've got a defensive end standing up, you've got a linebacker standing up, you really feel like you got pressure. That's a lot of things people do to us on offense. They're kind of hybrid defensive ends, outside linebackers that you're bringing pressure. A lot of times you can handle that pressure that comes from inside. It's being able to pick it up to the outside, especially when you got a lot of outside sweeps or quarterback sweeps. A lot of things goes off tackle. It really prevents that and forces everything to go back inside. So it's just sometimes it comes down to a chess match. Sometimes it's a live and learn type thing. I think it kind of forces your hand to kind of evolve and adapt and, see what we can do right there. And I think that our guys done a great job adjusting to it week in and week out. And I think typically for us on the offensive end, that's what we've tried to do with a lot of people through our course of the years is, if you can do multiple formations without subbing, then you can force the defense's hands by knowing how they're going to line up to certain things. And I think that gives you an edge on the offensive end when you can create mismatches.
Let's talk about the offense
Yeah.
that we're going to see tonight. It seems to me that you've got something that you want to see from this offense, irregardless of what's on the other side.
Yeah, we got to do a really good job of trying to spread the football out. We got to do a good job of you know, making sure that, you know, we get guys involved, you know, and that we become a team, a complementary offense. You know, we've got multiple backs, we've got multiple tight ends, we mentioned receivers, you know, the depth at the receiver position. You know, we've got to create those things and at the same time to be able to, you know, push the ball down the field and make some plays, protect Brett when we need to. And so, you know, I think just from an offensive end, the more people you can get involved, the tougher you're going to be to stop, you know. And I think that's where we are right now. It's just really complementary football, you know, keep the down and distance where we need to, still try to push the ball down the field a little bit, you know. And then, you know, the key for us on offense is how much misdirection can we do. You know, we kind of became stagnant at times in our first game. You know, how much misdirection can you do with the Q and the R and the receivers, moving those guys around. So I think a little bit tonight, hopefully we can do that. And, you know, that makes more for more people that want to get involved in the offense. And I think that receivers blocking, running backs pass protecting, that will play dividends for us moving forward.
Coach Witten, as always, we thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this version of Coach Shawn Witten Show as the Cyclones enter conference play tonight against the Grainger Grizzlies. Tony and I will be back after these words from our sponsors with your call of the game. So we'll be back after these words on 107.9 The Bridge.